So I think that empty section from Trump's rally the other night in Reading, Pennsylvania really broke the guy. Have you noticed at his event yesterday, he looked just incredibly depressed. He was speaking slowly. He couldn't even speak in any form of coherent sentences whatsoever. Meanwhile, you had Vice President Kamala Harris out there. You had former President Barack Obama out there. You even had President Joe Biden out there adding insult to injury and hitting Trump where it hurts. It was a beautiful sight to see, so I'm excited to show it to you. My name is Brett Meiselas here with the MeidasTouch Network. Remember to hit subscribe. We are on our way to 3.5 million subscribers, and we can't get there without you. Okay, let's get right into it. So remember that photo? Let's pull this up. This is the photo of the rally in Reading, Pennsylvania. The arena only seats around 7,000 people or so, and you could see that this section was incredibly empty, and this was right before Donald Trump took the stage. But even when Trump was on the stage, it was still incredibly empty. Like, we have a video you can watch right here.
And he doesn't fight for you. He just votes the way the Democrats tell him to vote. This guy will be a leader, and he'll bring business back to your Commonwealth.
Now let's compare that to Vice President Kamala Harris's crowd in Phoenix, Arizona last night. Well, one of those things is not like the other. So what is Donald Trump doing? He's doing what he always does. He's taking to his social media app to spout insane conspiracy theories. This time is his conspiracy theory against CBS. He's very mad at them for editing the episode, for editing the interview with Vice President Kamala Harris. He says it should have been aired like a raw interview, and he wants them criminally prosecuted. He wants them to lose their license. Here's an example of one of these posts that he made. A giant fake news scam by CBS and 60 Minutes. Her real answer was crazy or dumb, so they actually replaced it with another answer in order to save her, or at least make her look better. A fake news scam, which is totally illegal. Take away the CBS license. Election interference. She is a moron, and the fake news media wants to hide that fact. An unprecedented scandal. The Dems got them to do this and should be forced to concede the election. Wow. All right, that's real normal behavior there. Let's read this next one because it was just post after post after post. Here's another one. Trump writes, CBS and 60 Minutes, working with the Democrats, probably did the same thing with the crooked Joe Biden interviews as they did for Kamala, changed his answers so that he looked intelligent, which he is not. With me, they probably edit my answers to make me look as bad as possible. I have always felt that, but now with the Kamala scandal, the worst and most blatant in the history of broadcasting, we have proof that 60 Minutes and CBS play dirty, real creeps. I think the only creep is you, Donald. And now what? You want to prosecute ABC News because you were horrible in the debate. You want to prosecute 60 Minutes because you backed out of it because last time you were there, they fact-checked you, and then you ran out because you were too afraid of them. Aw. You want to take away NBC's license. We get it. It's the same thing over and over and over. Here's another post from Donald Trump on the same issue. He writes, with me, 60 Minutes does the exact opposite. They take everything I say, realize how totally brilliant it is, and take it out. So with Kamala, they add. With Trump, they delete. Like the Democrat Party, they are a threat to democracy. Yeah, I mean, I don't think anyone was thinking your speech was brilliant. And, we actually have footage of you on these 60-minute interviews, like you did one. And you didn't like the fact that they were asking you very simple questions, and so you ran out. Remember, you left? And so here's a clip that we made in October 2020. This is when Leslie Stahl was asking Donald Trump about a very famous phrase of his, when he says, lock her up. Donald Trump decided that he was going to deny ever saying, lock her up. It's kind of like your slogan, right? You're the "you're fired" guy, you're the lock him up guy. That's kind of your thing, right? But Donald Trump denied it and got frustrated, and so we made this video about it and added in the footage of him saying it and his audience is saying it. You could watch it right now.
You don't want to lock up Governor Whitmer, but you want
When
to
did I
lock
say
up
lock her up? I
the
never said.
Bidens. You want to lock
Wait a minute.
up
When did I say
Obama.
lock her up?
You got to get your governor to open up your state, okay? Lock them all up.
When did I say lock up the governor? I didn't say lock up the governor.
All right.
Lock them all up.
Why would I lock her up? No, why did you say you don't want to lock up the governor? Of course I don't want to lock her up.
Lock them all up.
Why would I lock her up?
Because you were in front of a rally of people saying it, encouraging it.
I never said it, Leslie.
Lock them all up.
Leslie, it's such a vicious thing you just said. I never said lock up the governor of Michigan. I would never say that. Why would I say that?
Lock them all up.
Yeah, Donald, I'm sure they were so scared about your brilliance. I bet that was it. Donald Trump was in Detroit yesterday, and he was speaking before the Detroit Economic Forum. And he said, remember, in Detroit, he warned that the whole country would be like Detroit if Kamala Harris were to become president. Just starting off offending the people of Detroit. Watch this.
I don't think anything that we're talking about today is high on her list. The whole country is going to be like, you want to know the truth? It'll be like Detroit. Our whole country will end up being like Detroit if she's your president. You're going to have a mess on your hands.
So what I'll do now is let me go back and forth between Donald Trump and Kamala Harris yesterday. Trump, Harris, Trump, Harris. Here's Vice President Harris. She was in Arizona, and she reenacted John McCain's legendary thumbs down to save the Affordable Care Act. Watch this.
I'll never forget that night. So we're all standing in the chamber, and we're waiting. And then, in the Senate chamber, there are these big wooden doors. And it was like out of a movie. The wooden doors broke open. And John McCain came walking into the well of the United States Senate and said, "No, you don't. No, you don't. No, you don't." But Donald Trump is trying to get rid of the Affordable Care Act still. And here's the thing.
Here's Donald Trump oddly speaking about the word grocery. Watch this.
I have more complaints on grocery. The word grocery, it's sort of simple word, but it sort of means like everything you eat. The stomach is speaking. It always does. And I have more complaints about that bacon and things going up double, triple, quadruple. As part of this effort, I will pay.
Here's Vice President Harris speaking about Donald Trump backing out of the debate. Watch this.
And y'all might have seen that just last night, Donald Trump officially ruled out any more debates. Now, I think it's a disservice to the voters. I also think it's a pretty weak move. But even if he will not debate, the contrast in this election is already clear. This election is about two very different visions for our nation.
Here's Donald Trump apparently farting. This wasn't added in. This is actually the sound. Watch this.
This is a catastrophe for the American dream and a dire crisis from commerce to labor to FEMA.
Here's Kamala Harris firing up the crowd in Arizona with chants of "We are not going back."
We are not going back. We are not going back. We're not going back. No.
And of course, it's not just Donald Trump, but it's the whole Trump-Vance ticket, which is just so bizarre, so unlikable. And I'll show you an example right here. So yesterday, J.D. Vance was speaking in North Carolina, and somebody seemed to be in some sort of distress behind him at this town hall event. And Vance's response was to blame Kamala Harris. Watch this.
Agency or the federal government, there's a lot of...
Hold on, just a second, man. We okay? Kamala Harris built this platform behind us. That's what happened. We doing okay, ma'am? We good?
You can have my chair if you want.
And you see Donald Trump and J.D. Vance and all these Republicans spiral more and more and more as the United States gets good news. Yesterday, an inflation report came out, and inflation fell for the 6th month in a row in September, hitting 2.4%, getting even closer to that Fed target of 2%. And here's some stats. Here's some analysis by Heather Long. She is a economic contributor to the Washington Post, and she writes, 2024 is on track to be an extraordinary year for the U.S. economy and U.S. stocks. Here are 3 key points that show how incredible it is. 1, the U.S. is defying expectations. Inflation has fallen all the way back to 2.4% without a recession. Growth is strong and unemployment is still very low. The bottom 50% are still benefiting. The biggest wage gains have gone to the bottom 40%, and wealth has nearly doubled for the bottom 50%. 3, the U.S. recovery has been the envy of the world. Look at how much more the U.S. economy has grown since the pandemic compared to other G7 nations. And this chart she shows really said it all. As if getting grilled by the data and getting grilled by Vice President Harris wasn't enough, former President Barack Obama delivered a rousing speech yesterday and really hit home all the right points. I love seeing him out there. Nobody does it better than Barack Obama. At this point, he was saying, that economy that Trump likes to brag about, he realizes that I kind of handed that to him, right? And he ruined it, just like the Republicans ruined the economy before me and I had to fix it. Watch this.
And then, don't boo. I'm going to break you of this habit. And the reason some people think, wow, I don't know, I remember that economy when he first came in being pretty good. Yeah, it was pretty good, because it was my economy. We had 75 straight months of job growth that I handed over to him. It wasn't something he did. I had spent 8 years cleaning up the mess that the Republicans had left me the last time. So just in case everybody has a hazy memory, he didn't do nothing except those big tax cuts.
Here's Obama speaking about Donald Trump's constant grifting. Watch this.
Constant attempts to sell you stuff. Who does that? Selling you gold sneakers and a $100,000 watch and most recently a Trump Bible. He wants you to buy the Word of God, Donald Trump edition. Got his name right there next to Matthew and Luke. I mean, you could not make this stuff up. If you saw it on Saturday Night Live, you'd say, well, no, that's going too far. No, he's doing that.
And truly everything with Donald Trump is a scam. And literally the exact same time Barack Obama was speaking about the Trump family's grifts and scams, they were literally grifting and scamming at that exact time. Like, here's a post from Eric Trump. He wrote, I have become the biggest advocate of crypto. For more details on the vision, and he points to his new crypto scheme that he's doing with his family, World Liberty Financial. And this is another scam that we found out about yesterday. Surprise, surprise. Yet again, it turns out the people holding Scranton firefighters for Trump signs at his event in Scranton, Pennsylvania the other day were not firefighters at all, but were just random people holding signs. We see this like everywhere he goes. It's all a fraud all the time. Let's get back to former President Barack Obama asking, do you ever think Trump changed a diaper? And he makes a pretty funny joke about Trump here. Watch this.
Or a car seat. Or diapers. I remember buying diapers. I remember the first time I went in the store, right after Malia was born. I was like, what? That's how much diapers cost? I remember changing diapers. You think Donald Trump ever changed a diaper? Yeah. I almost said that, but I decided I shouldn't say it.
And even President Biden is fed up with Donald Trump, and the press was asking him his message to Trump after Trump continues to lie about all these storms and the hurricane response. Watch what Biden had to say here.
Mr. President, have you spoken with former President Trump at all?
Are you kidding me? Mr. President Trump, former President Trump, get a life, man. Help these people.
Will you hold him accountable?
Best people who are now saying that you should not support him for a second term. I hope you enjoy the new MeidasTouch digital short. Check this out.
If you like Trump's NFTs,
A great Christmas gift.
then you'll love the I Know the Best People pack of digital trading cards.
We've got the best people.
I know the best people.
I have the best people.
That's right. And this top-tier talent refuses to support Trump for a second term.
We worked with him, we knew him, and we are telling you, America, this man is unfit to be president. And a second term would be more dangerous than a first.
These people know what he was really like as president, and they're from every corner of the government. Cabinet members,
I have a lot of concerns about Donald Trump. I have said that he's a threat to democracy.
trusted advisors,
He will always put his own interests and his own ego ahead of everything else.
intelligence officials,
It appalls me that he could be elected president again.
White House staff,
A vote for Donald Trump is a vote for a fascist government.
military leaders,
We don't take an oath to a king or a queen or to a tyrant.
the vice president,
Anyone who asks someone else to put them over the Constitution should never be president of the United States again.
and the pack keeps getting bigger. So for the cost of one vote this November, you'll get bodily autonomy, a president who isn't a convicted felon, the American system of government, free and fair elections, a first gentleman named Doug, and so much more. Never have there been so many defectors from a single administration. So if you want to be one of Trump's best people, don't support him for a second term.
And meanwhile, the raw data from a lot of this early voting and absentee voting right now is looking pretty good. Here's an analysis of the votes, the mail-in votes and absentee ballots from Pennsylvania. They say for Democrats to reach the current firewall of 390,000 votes in Pennsylvania, they'll need to average a net gain of 8,744 votes every day until Election Day. So that firewall is basically the amount of votes they need to be leading by Election Day in mail in order for it to be a basically insurmountable amount of votes for Republicans to gain come Election Day. Between day 2, October 8th, and day 4, October 10th, Democrats have been averaging a net gain of 46,010 votes a day. Can we expect a 40 to 50,000 vote gain every single day? No, but Democrats would have to fall off pretty hard to not reach this goal. That's very good news for the pro-democracy community. And then we see this thread here by Patrick Shaw, who's explaining Michigan voter returns, Michigan ballot returns. And so it's a non-party registration state, he says, so any analysis is based on modeling. Likely Democratic supporters outnumber likely Republicans by over 462,000 ballot requests. Almost 40% of this advantage comes from voters with infrequent vote histories. Frequent likely Democratic voters outnumber likely frequent Republican voters by about 285,000 requests. 45% of all requests are from likely Democratic voters, only 22% from likely Republicans. And I could go on, but basically this is very strong data in terms of ballots being returned in Michigan and bodes very well. But, you know, like they say, you got to be keeping this momentum up. You got to remain hyped. You got to be getting out the vote. You got to be doing everything that you can right now, because right now it is all on the line. And I could continue to chat, but I think I'll let former President Barack Obama close us out with this incredible message. Watch this.
And the good news is that you have candidates to vote for in this election that demonstrate that kind of character, who know what real strength looks like, who will set a good example and do the right thing and leave this country better than they found it. So, Pennsylvania, that is the choice in this election. It's not just about policies that are on the ballot. It is about values, and it is about character. So whether this election is making you feel excited or scared or hopeful or frustrated or anything in between, do not just sit back and hope for the best. Get off your couch and vote. Put down your phone and vote. Grab your friends and family and vote. Vote for Kamala Harris as the next president of the United States. Vote for Tim Walz as the next vice president of the United States. Vote for Bob Casey and this whole incredible Pennsylvania Democratic ticket. Help your friends and family members and neighbors and co-workers do the same. Because if enough of us make our voices heard, we will leave no doubt about the election outcome. We'll leave no doubt about who we are and what America stands for. And together we'll keep building a country that's more fair and more equal and more just and more free. That is our task. That is our responsibility. Let's go do it. Thank you, Pittsburgh. Thank you, Pennsylvania. Let's go vote.
I don't know about you, but I feel fired up, and I hope you take that momentum right across the finish line. Get out your friends and family to vote. Make sure they're registered to vote. Hit subscribe. We're on our way to 3.5 million subscribers here at the MeidasTouch Network, and that is all thanks to you. Hit the like button. Leave a comment. We're so appreciative of all your support. Thanks again, and I'll see you in a bit.
Love this video? Make sure you stay up to date on the latest breaking news and all things Meidas by signing up to the MeidasTouch newsletter at MeidasTouch.com/newsletter.